traveling from airspace visions to AI visions. And welcome to the next panel, which has a beautiful title, The Art of Possible, AI Visions for the Future. Because, you know, the future of AI isn't just about what's technically possible, but it is about what we dare to imagine. So please welcome with me three absolute visionary minds from some of the world's most renowned companies, which is Guiscardo from Reply, Carlo Ruiz from NVIDIA, and Angie Gifford from Meta and Facebook. So our friend Joachim Henkel is also here. He's from TUM, and he's the ideal guide for this panel, being an expert as well in innovation as in technology management. So please, Joachim, the stage is yours. Where are you? Joachim, are you want to say? Okay, Guiscardo is here, but Joachim wanted to introduce you, so let's do it one by one. I know we are all stuck in traffic by planes and trains, and here we are, and I hand over the mic to our moderator.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, seems like just find a seat. So, welcome. We come from one super interesting topic, namely space, to another, AI, which is obviously on everybody's mind when we speak about management and business these days. And we have a range of speakers who is really, I think, excellent. And I'm really looking forward to this panel here. Brief introduction, and you will introduce yourself in a bit more detail. We have Angie Gifford here. You're working with Meta, senior advisor to the CEO. You have been working with HP before. You have worked for HP in the German-speaking region. 20 years with Microsoft, Businesswoman of the Year a while ago. Thank you for being here. We have Carlo Ruiz. You are Vice President NVIDIA for European, Middle East, Asia, and Africa. Oh, sorry, that's A is for Africa. You've been working with Compaq, also with HP, and since 2015 with NVIDIA. Important thing, what I learned, I had this misconception, NVIDIA is mostly about hardware, about chips. No, I learned this is actually a platform, an AI stack company. There's more to it than just the chips. And finally, we have Guiscardo. Yeah. Remind me.
Guiscardo.
Guiscardo.
Guiscardo Pin. Very easy.
Yeah. Guiscardo Pin. You are with Reply, which is not as visible, I suppose, as the other two companies, but it's very interesting to have these three firms here because we have somebody from the at least more hardware side, from the more applied side and system development side, and from the adopter side or the user side. I don't know if you saw this neat little robot dog in the tent over there that has Reply over it. I recommend having a look. You've been in Germany, you just learned, since 40 years now. Studied in Darmstadt, in Duke as well, working with Siemens T-Systems since 2017. You are a board member of Reply Germany. Yes. We start with a brief introduction, so with a brief presentation by each speaker. And we would go by that sequence of more hardware, more software and systems, and then come to more adoption, even though I realize that separation is not quite as clear-cut. And so, Carlo, indeed. Carlo, we have, and now this is for the technical support here, we have a little presentation.
Yeah, it is.
That you would like to share. And
it's your presentation.
It's mine.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I will start because the presentation now, it's my presentation at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
good.
If you agree, Joachim, I will do
I
it.
totally agree. So
Yeah, totally
let's do
agree.
it this way. Thank you. Guiscardo.
Yeah, fine. Maybe I will stand, yeah. Thank you very much, and warm welcome also from my side. I'm Guiscardo Pin, now the right pronunciation of the name. Yeah, I'm a member of the board of Reply. Yeah, Reply is a systems integrator. I will come later a little bit more talk about Reply, but you can see the robot that we have, really nice robot, and some other very interesting gigs and technical gigs in the booth area over there. We will talk about AI, and AI, the art of the possible. Yeah, what does it mean, and how we realize what is really AI. Yeah, we are talking about artificial intelligence, but there are many different names for artificial intelligence. What we are talking about machine learning, we are talking about NLP, we are talking about creativity. What does it really mean if we are talking about artificial intelligence? Is just another tool, or it's really artificial intelligence is not an hype, it's a modern technology that will disrupt almost every industry. And I will show you later on some cases where we really disrupt many different industries. And for sure, we have also new possibility with AI, and we can really see what is possible and what is not possible with AI. Because don't forget, the machine, bless you, the machine calculates and the human is thinking. And that's the major difference that we have always to keep in mind if you're talking about AI. And I should, yeah. Ah, you are the...
This is teamwork.
Yeah. We have some examples here where we are using AI, and one of the major examples that we have is the software-defined vehicles. Yeah, probably if you know the car manufacturers. Yeah, we are talking about European car manufacturers at the moment. Yeah, I will stay in Europe. Let me put it this way. Yeah, and if we are talking about software-defined vehicles, we are talking about sensors. Cars that are communicating with edge computing, cars that are communicating car-to-car communication, LiDAR sensors, in order really also to prevent and to have a safely drive with the cars. And the first adoption for artificial intelligence is real in the cars, because you can really saw also traffic lights, recognize traffic lights. We can also recognize some obstacles on the road. It's a cool stuff in order to try to work with AI. But AI is also very, very important for the medicine research and drug research. As you can see with DeepMind AlphaFold, it's a Google product. Yeah, we have really breakthrough protein research, and we really now understand what is the key of the protein research and the DNA. And it's important because if you can do those kind of calculations also manually, but it takes long time. And thanks to also to the hardware, to the very powerful hardware, also from NVIDIA, for example, yeah, with the GPUs, H100, and so on, yeah, you can really open another field of status of calculations. I can really realize very, very high quality calculations of this stuff. And probably you know the hype on artificial intelligence started actually with ChatGPT. Yeah, because we had in the past machine learning and deep learning, and with ChatGPT, with the clouds, with the networks, with the GPUs, now we have really the power, and then we can really explode and try to find also use cases where we can use artificial intelligence. And probably you use also DALL-E, yeah, as a creative part of the AI stuff. But what is really the future of AI? Yeah, if you see also the prompt of ChatGPT is not really let me put it this way, comfortable. Yeah, it's not comfortable, and the UX and UI of ChatGPT is not really cool. Yeah, it means AI will become more personalized. We will have more customizations, and for sure we will have also more convenience also in order to use the AI stuff. And I'm always saying that AI is not just a tool; it's a collaborator. You know, you can extend your creativity, you can extend your productivity. If you think about, for example, Microsoft Copilot, yeah, it's really a good tool in order to increase your productivity and also sometimes also to be faster for some tasks. Yeah, but don't forget, you have always to keep in mind that it's a machine. And the machine only calculates based on data, based on pattern, based on recognition of data. Yeah, that's a major difference of the human creativity. And we don't have to forget also the ethics and the regulatory, because what is an ethical AI? What is a decision, especially if you are thinking about software-defined vehicle, autonomous driving? You have to think about ethics. Yeah? The question that are at the moment are really lots of questions, and we cannot underestimate that. It's really big stuff that we have to keep in mind. But AI is also open really endless possibilities in order to really to make our life also better. And it means that we have to use that in a meaningful way in order to shape also a better future. Now I show you a video, and we'll comment the video in a couple of seconds. I hope we start.
My body. It seems like a hologram. Looking closely, you may notice several details. A few marks on the skin. Some features that change. Still, it is all in balance with the emotions that light up my face. I can sense them. I feel them through the deep silence inside me, but also in the form of notes that echo loudly. It's extraordinary, like discovering that you can innovate the future without stripping its soul. Amazing. As if technology brings something human with it.
This video is completely generated, ideated, and realized through AI. It was just a prompt, a cool prompt, to be honest. Yeah, it was the reasoning prompting in the system that we are using, and it's completely AI generated. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Guiscardo. That was probably the perfect starting video because it really gave a good background for AI in general. Whose video is next? Or whose PowerPoint? This is NVIDIA. This is Carlo.
So I'm already having a lot of fun in this panel. I'm not Guiscardo, I'm not responsible for Asia, and I do a little bit more than hardware. So I wanted to talk about that today with you. So thanks for having me back at MMK. Love to be here. And I thought I need to capture what we did over the last 12 months. But if I just think about the last 8 weeks, it's just amazing what's happening in the world. So I tried to capture it in 8 slides. So let's give it a try. Now, one of the things that the team and I are working on is so-called AI factories. And let's see if this thing is moving forward. That worked just before, right?
Yes,
yeah.
I did it.
Oh, we get it. Okay, let's give it a sec. Are we good? No?
Probably that's AI.
We need a bit more AI.
Yes.
Okay. No. Are we good? Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay, fantastic. So, yeah, we do a lot at NVIDIA, and we're working as a platform company. That means it's the underlying infrastructure and then all kinds of libraries and software on top. We do that for self-driving cars, we do that for robots, we do that in gaming. And one of the things is that we do that also for AI development. And in that domain, that's where my responsibility is, we build these AI factories. And AI factories nowadays, they are not just about a chip or a GPU or an accelerator. No, these problems are so hard, so big, that you need to approach them at the data center scale. And we call those AI factories. So it's not just one chip, like a GPU, but we make CPUs, we are in the networking. And it's at data center scale. So data goes in, intelligence comes out, and the software stack on top of it is quite relevant. Now, this is a hot topic, of course, because you want to have these capabilities in country. Think about sovereign AI, right? Sovereign AI, especially over the last weeks, it has become more and more important than ever. Because why would you want to take your IP, your cultural values, ship it off to someone else, and then probably then buy it back, right? That doesn't make sense. You want to have those capabilities in-house. So to deploy these AI factories has been one of our main activities over the last few quarters. Now, how's that going? That's going quite well. If you look at the region, and here you see some examples. So one of the latest ones is, for example, in Denmark, where we closely collaborate, and we're working on topics like climate research and healthcare, or a very large Italian initiative with the Colosseum setup in Italy. And so in these cases, a country becomes the master of their own destiny and making sure they develop their local ecosystem. Now, with these developments of large-scale AI factories, there's also the question in how can we move forward in a sustainable way? What about sustainable computing? And there we're doing actually really well also as a region. Because if you think of accelerated computing and you would compare it to traditional computing on CPUs, it turns out that it's super efficient. So if you do a training on accelerated compute, it's 3,000 times more efficient than with traditional compute. So this is a path forward for sustainable computing. Now, there's a ranking in the world of the most energy efficient supercomputers in the world. And I'm really proud to say that if you look at the top 10, 6 of those are coming from NVIDIA, and they are all based in Europe. And the number 1 in the world is actually here in Germany at Jülich. So I think this shows that you can be working on large-scale AI projects and large-scale HPC, and at the same time do this in a super energy-efficient way. So we're leading the pack here. Now, it's not just about the infrastructure. It's also about making sure that all the tooling is available, the software tooling. So we spend a lot of time and effort in that space. So we take, for example, community models and optimize those for this kind of infrastructure that I just have shown to you. But we also develop our own models. So just recently, we announced a series of large language models, which we made available open source to the community. I'll give you a couple of examples in a moment of that software. I brought 2, actually. So one of the ideas is that if you want to get started with this technology, one should not reinvent the wheel every time. So take a topic like agentic AI. It's a very big topic for all of us, next step also for enterprise adoption. And we decided to create some recipes, some blueprints for others to adopt. And I brought an example today for you. And this is an AI agent. It's modeled after our CEO, Jensen. So we call this Toy Jensen inside of our company. And in this case, it's a research agent. So we can provide all kinds of information to the agent. It will research and will come with the results. Now, the idea, of course, of a blueprint is that you can take this for your own organization and do the same thing in-house. In this case, I decided to let the AI agent research MMK and to write an opening speech for me. So I'll show you how this works. Here we go.
Greetings, innovators and visionaries. As we gather for MMK 25, let's embrace Erfindergeist und Unternehmertum. the spirit of invention and entrepreneurship. In a world where AI and sustainability are reshaping industries, your creativity is the ultimate game.
And I'll pause it there for a moment. Yeah, the future is we can probably replace the panel with the agent, right? So the point being here is that we use this for all kinds of things. Right? When we prepare for meetings, we don't need the avatar, but it can do the research already and prepare a couple of insights for us. And then, yeah, of course, you don't need one agent, you need many of them, and they probably collaborate together. And then for organizations with whom we work, you don't need to reinvent that wheel again. You can take the blueprints and use the agents that you need. And the setup that we have also makes them very scalable. Huh? Once you need to deploy this at scale, the blueprints are also ready to do that. Now, the last example that I have for you is a topic that we're working on, which is physical AI. Physical AI, I think we just spoke about the robots, so AI coming in our physical space. And we think that's going to take off now, right now. And the reason for that is that three things are coming together, which we didn't have together yet. So one are those AI factories where we can create very sophisticated models. The other thing is that we have very powerful target compute platforms that sit inside of the robots. We make that for self-driving cars, we make that for humanoids. So that's now strong enough. But there was one piece missing, the part in the middle, which we call Omniverse. And Omniverse is the world in which we can simulate, because it turns out that just like humans, you can go into university, but to apply your knowledge, what you have learned in the real world, is very important. You need to train. And so we created this high fidelity world called Omniverse. Omniverse is the part where you create the world. And then we have introduced an open source initiative called Cosmos. And Cosmos is the AI that we simulate inside of that world. And instead of talking about it, I just show you a video what it looks like. And just keep in mind, this is all simulation. So this is an environment for a self-driving car to learn. And you can learn about corner cases. Or when you are in manufacturing, you can do reinforcement learning and have the robot go through all kinds of scenarios and find out what's the best. And of course, you can do many scenarios you don't need to go real time. And here's again the example of cars, manufacturing, and so on. And all of this is open source so that we can accelerate the development of physical AI. So we really expect this to take off quite fast because all of these elements are coming together. All right, for time's sake, let me leave it there. And let's go to our next panelist.
Thank you, Carlo. And we learned there's a lot of hardware and this whole thing combined with software, with other things, this whole universe that allows to do all these wonderful examples that you showed. And we move on to Meta and to Angie.
Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me. It's my first time here. I really like the very dynamic panel and all the improvisation we already have done here. I was supposed to present first, but I'm happy to be here, and it's really, really a pleasure to see you all being so interested in AI. And I think we have seen some very, very cool things already. And I would like to give you a little bit more insight, what is the AI strategy for Meta? And AI is in our very, very core mission. I mean, the mission of Meta is to connect people and giving everybody a voice. So human connection is our mission. And with AI, I think we have so much more capabilities, opportunities, but also challenges to do this. So let me quickly show you what is our long-term vision. On the left-hand side, you basically see AI. And for us, really, it's a journey towards AI that we can enhance human capability. Not only enhance human capability, but also, work with them very, very closely. And the human capabilities from reasoning, from planning, from coding, from memory, all of that really is kept in the AI capabilities that we want to put out there. And also my colleagues basically here on the panel talked about that. And then on the right-hand side, you know, all know this, and I got a lot of questions. Are you still in the metaverse? Is metaverse still real? And I think when you communicate in Horizon workrooms, it's powered by AI. If you use Ray-Ban glasses, it's powered by AI. And I think the metaverse, you know, is an important new compute platform that we're still working on. Just to answer your question, is it still relevant for Meta? So you really see these two components really being dependent on each other and really interwoven into each other. So AI is driving the metaverse and metaverse as the new compute platform. So how do we do this? And here I have a very clear statement when we discussed this in the beginning, when we prepared a little bit for the panel. We really believe strongly in the open ecosystem, and that's open source. We believe in open source. We think that it makes much more sense, you know, to put Llama models out there that everybody can develop, they can build their apps on, they can test it. It just makes it a better product. And let me quickly quote Mark Zuckerberg. He says, "Open source will ensure that more people around the world have access to the benefits and opportunity of AI, that power isn't concentrated in the hand of a small number of companies, and that the technology can be deployed more evenly, safely across society." And I think that's a very important point. AI should serve society. Technology always should serve people and not the other way around. So, AI transformation, are we there yet? No, we have a long transformation in front of us, and it's very exciting to see we are adapting AI. And both of you had very cool examples that despite the fact, and particularly the Germans, right, sometimes ask, why do we have to do this? Instead of the Americans, how can we do this? I think here, if you look at Gartner, you see we have a lot of potential, and there is a lot of things already happening. So it's really, really exciting. So the left corner, I would like to draw your attention. It says 40% of generative AI solution will be multimodal. What does that mean? That we are able, with AI, to process data in a range of formats, be it, for example, images, videos, text, audio, and so on and so on. And another thing you can see on here, it's not just going to be general AI for everybody, horizontal solution, but as you can see, many AI models will, 50% to be precise, by 2027, which is not far away, will really adjust and be specific to industry needs. And I think that's super, super important that we really cater to specific industries. So my next slide is underpinning our belief in open source Llama models, in really making this available for many people. I brought a very nice Llama. We have 600 million downloads since we launched. And that's great, I think. But what I really like even more is the second number. 85,000 derivative models. What does that mean? We have big developer communities who work with the Llama models, who build their applications on the Llama models and give us real-time feedback what is not working. So that's why I think this is building more secure products, more adaptable products, and really democratize to a certain degree also AI. And we're not just doing this, of course, by ourselves. You pointed out the ecosystem before. We have some really cool partners who are working with us on this. And now we have, as you know, Llama 3.2. We're working on Llama 3.3. And they are also talking about energy and data centers. We need to but we need to focus also on smaller Llama models. So we have Llama models that work just with text input, that only use 1 billion input parameter. But if you talk about multimodal, of course, Llama models, you talk about up to 405 billion input parameters. So we really have a large range here of different models. And I think it's very important that they are transparent, that they are open, and that we really make a lot of people a part of the plot. And a lot of companies already use the Llama models and build their application for internal use. And if you ask, what is the next version of WhatsApp, of Instagram, of messaging being built on, we build with our own Llama models. And that's what I like. Eat your own dog food, drink your own champagne. I think we have to also make our learnings, and we also have to make the products, of course, better from our side. So, this was supposed to be a nice video, which obviously is it working? It's not working? Okay. What you would have seen on the video, what I think is really, really cool. Do we have any...
Mi lengua materna es el español, pero fíjate, ahora también puedo hablar inglés a través del doblaje automático de IA. Mis labios se sincronizan con la traducción y todo. Es increíble. Qué cool poder conectar con personas y audiencias que hablen inglés. My native language is Spanish, but check it out. Now I can also speak English through AI automatic dubbing. My lips are synchronized with the translation and everything. It's amazing how cool to be able to connect with people and audiences who speak English.
So, I don't need to comment on that, I guess. I think it's pretty amazing. That's real time, and that's something we are working on. And for every Spanish person in the room, I'm looking at one right now, hey, that's something how you can reach out to more people, build up more communities, and I think it's really a very, very cool use case, you know, how AI is changing the way we interact, the way we work together, and I think also how it serves people. That's my strong belief what AI should do. Okay, so if I'm here with Meta, I cannot not talk about Ray-Ban glasses, and that's definitely something many of you already have. Yes? Yes, okay. Oh, here we go. Wonderful, taking a video, that's amazing. But because we really think that the emerge of the new AI-centric device category is Ray-Ban glasses, one of it. And the internet gatekeeper is no longer the phone. It's no longer the phone, it's new devices like the Ray-Ban glasses. And what can you do with it? I brought some of my illustration here. You know, you can translate immediately, you can ask, you know, the Meta glasses to call a number, you can scan in QR code. It just makes your life much easier and much more fun. Can I get a big nod from you? Easier and fun? Here we go. So, it's something we're very proud of and we're working on, and I think it's not only a gimmick, it's really a new technology, you know, that we think, again, will make our lives better, easier, and will also, you know, spread in the world. So what's also going to spread in the world is a glimpse in the future I want to give you right now, and then I'm done, because I know I already spoke a little longer. But I have to tell you about Orion. So this is really, really a cool new development that we're having and something we're working on. It's already the last few years. It's not something we started, you know, a couple years ago. It's full holographic AR glasses, which are still, you know, they have a vision there. And it's really a new way of experiences in an AR world. The requirements were heavy. The development was insane. Because I had them on in Davos. They are no more than 100 grams. They are not a headset. We couldn't develop a headset. We couldn't develop wires. We really had to build everything in the glasses. And there need to be a really big view on the holographic display, sharp enough that you can read with this, clearly, you know, in all the different kind of lighting that it has, big as a cinema screen, multi-monitors. And what you can do with the glasses was really when you are in the world, you know, in the AR world with these glasses, you don't have to pick up your phone. You just have a gesture, and it picks up the phone. You can make phone call. You can also write messages, or basically, you know, voice your message you wanna communicate, and so on and so on. I played with it. It's really amazing, and I have to say that's a big new development and experience. I personally looking forward to. It's going to take a few more years, and we're going to bring this to the market, but really a new way of experience, you know, AR. So I want to thank you for your patience with me here, and I just wanted to say, like all the other companies, we are not just thinking and saying and talking about AI. I think it's all on us to build responsible AI that serves the community and is really making our lives different and better. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Angie. So we had after Llama 3, we had Giraffe 1.0, I suppose. A fascinating overview. We will have now time for questions. I will take the liberty of kicking it off with a few questions and then give the floor to you. Short questions and short answers are appreciated so we can cover more ground. To start with, over the years we got acquainted to what is called predictive or discriminatory AI, and now everything is generative AI, which probably has for companies different implications in terms of strategy. What creates an advantage, a strategic advantage in Gen AI versus predictive AI? Is there a difference, if any? Who would pick that up?
Me?
Please go ahead.
Okay. Predictive AI, actually, it's the first form of artificial intelligence, if we are talking about AI. And there are lots of applications in predictive AI, especially in the financial industry. Yeah, in order to avoid fraud, for example, we have also many projects that we made with some financial services institutes. And you can use lots of data, aggregate the data, recognize if we have some anomalies in the data, and then you can really have a very reliable solution on that. And that's predictive AI. And now, but we see a development on that in terms of how to increase the productivity, how to enlarge the creativity, how to increase also the competitiveness of the customers. And we are talking about this so-called Gen AI, but also agentic AI. It means that we are talking about agents. An agent will serve another agent in order to fulfill a workflow that we have in the company, especially in very repetitive tasks. Is very not easy, but it's not so complicated to realize an agent. And then you can learn from an agent, and then you can realize the next agent in order to fulfill the tasks. And the strategy of the companies at the moment is going more and more to the Gen AI, agentic AI, because you can really have very quick results on that and very reliable results. It's the new era of AI at the moment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe I can add something there. From NVIDIA side, we look at what can we enable with the technology. And it's all about scaling AI itself and how can you adopt it. So at the start, we were mostly focused there on the training of the models. And that will continue. I heard from Angie here that 50% of the models will be specific, right, to
industries.
To the industries. And so we see that trend as well, right? Next to human language, we'll go into the language of biology and so on. Then it turned out that post-training is also very important. So because like a human, you can train at university, but then to adopt it to your enterprise, it's the next step. And it turns out to be quite intense. The third one, which we just discussed, the agentic AI, turns out that on the inferencing side, now we have the opportunity to scale there as well, to do compute-intense tasks like the time-scaling inference, meaning we go into reasoning. So we can have multiple agents and go for really complex tasks. And that's very exciting. And that's something that's picking up right now.
Thank you. Then briefly about open source AI. Angie, you have mentioned that, and it's actually one of my research topics. So in my group, we're doing a project on that to understand what does it actually mean. I don't know if you've heard about it, but Angie, you mentioned that. Now, to be precise, there's the model, there's the data. Sometimes open is just the model, not the data. Sometimes there are restrictions that are not really open source licenses. It's quite a complex and varied picture. And I suppose Meta is not doing that for altruistic reasons. There's a reason behind that, which benefits other firms probably as well. So I would like to ask you briefly about that, Angie, and also, I don't know, maybe Guiscardo, that's also something that could be very important for reply. And of course, Carlo, if you want to add, you're welcome.
Absolutely.
But if you can, please keep it brief.
Sure.
I keep it very brief because I'm going to repeat basically what I said in the presentation. It's very simple. We believe that if we give the opportunity to work with the model, to give feedback to the model, and to give it to more people, it will just be a better product. And it will be a more secure product. Because look at the cybersecurity. Cybersecurity tools are very, very often open source based, and they're good tools. And also in terms of cost, if I talk to a developer today, they said, I could never, ever, do this myself. And I'm so grateful that I have this possibility to build my own application on this, build my own use cases, and guess what? Also give you, Meta, a lot of feedback. I love that you give me the developer tools and that you're transparent on your red coding, that you're transparent on everything you're doing, you're transparent on your way you're going to get the product better. But I'm also happy, Meta, that you're going to get into smaller versions, into a small version that don't need that much input parameter, to make it also for smaller companies. And I'm supposed to stop here and give it to you.
Thank you.
And I first want to say something about the smaller models, because that's really important, I think. We make the contribution of making the technology more efficient, and with every generation we make a tremendous leap. But then at the same time, the usage needs to be smart as well, right? So we'll do the large stuff, but also to make it more efficient on the consumption side. I think that's really relevant. Now, open source as a topic, we have different angles for that. So, of course, we leverage the community models. We're great partners, for example, with Meta there. We optimize and make them ready for those AI factories that you saw. But also our contribution to the open source, we have done that for quite a while before AI, with physics simulation or data science, but now also with language models, or the thing that I just showed, Cosmos. That's a foundational model for simulation for robots and self-driving cars. We think that we can go both faster and further by doing this open source. So that's the contribution that we make in this domain.
I might add one sentence to this, because we talk a lot about open source, not open source. I think whatever we do with AI, it's important that we include everybody. We need to talk and we need to work with academics. We need to talk with the governments. We need to talk to society, consumers. I think it's very, very important, whether it's open source or closed source, it's very important that we keep that in mind. It's a community that will drive responsible, transparent, and ethical AI.
Thank you.
Yes, I truly believe that we will have in the future more and more small large language models. It's a contradiction in the sentence, and more edge computing, edge cloud. Yeah, because if you're thinking about applications like autonomous driving, I don't really believe that we will have autonomous driving the next time in Germany, but in order to have those kind of applications, you need a very high computational power and near to zero latency. Zero latency, it means less than 5 milliseconds. You can realize that probably with 5G or 6G, there are now research on 6G for the telco operators, but you need many different small data centers and not a huge data center with a huge computer and a huge cloud. I don't believe it doesn't work. We have enough experience with lots of customers in the automotive industry, financial services industry, where we can really test in that, and also in the telco industry.
Thank you. One thing that I'm not sure you're all familiar with, it has been mentioned, foundational models. You mentioned Cosmos. Foundational models are the big ones that are developed by typically larger companies because they're just very expensive to make. And if these are open, you can build specific models. You can add a training on a specific topic. And that indeed, that's what you were referring to, that offers possibilities for firms, for startups to come in. Which brings me to adoption of existing systems. And maybe then Reply again would be a wonderful company to ask about that. So how is that? What do you recommend, like the average company, large, medium, to do when it comes to adopting AI, which seems like a tall order, a difficult thing to do, but maybe not?
Yes, we have to start always with analysis. You cannot, an AI solution or a use case doesn't fit also for the other companies, and the companies are different. The processes in the companies are primarily different, and you have really to analyze how is the process and how you can speed up the process. And we are doing that. We have some verticals, industry verticals, where we have some patterns that we can see, but it starts always with analysis phase in order to understand where we are and what is the way to go and what is the target. And we have lots of possibilities in terms of technology, in terms of software, hardware, and so on. And we have also to find that the use cases, because it's not so immediately that you have the use case. And if you learn the system and if you learn the model, it also costs lots of time. And you need lots of data. And if you are working with customers together, they don't want to share immediately the data. It means you have to work in a private cloud with specific security policies. And if you put together all those single elements in order to create a solution, it takes time, and it's a journey. Let me put it this way.
Thank you, which reminds us that innovation is not just invention, putting out fancy systems and hardware, software, all that, but really also commercializing that, bringing that to the market, convincing people, hey, that data could go into a private cloud or maybe etc. So all these things. Final one from my side, of course there's regulation, there is an EU AI Act, there's innovation, there's privacy issues. How does that fit together? Angie, if you want to take that question.
Yeah, I mean, regulation is important, period. Particularly on AI, we have to make sure we have clear guardrails. I think everybody agrees to that statement. Does Europe have to be the Silicon Valley of regulation? I'm not so sure. It has to be meaningful regulation, it has to support innovation, and it has to be consistent in the member states. We have to speak as one EU. Right now we have 100 laws, digital laws. We have over 200 people in the EU who look if these laws are applied the right way, and we have 36 of these people in Germany alone. So that's my biggest concern. And I'm not against regulation. I think the AI Act is a good thing. It gives us security, it gives us guardrails, it gives us transparency. This is all great. But I think we really have to watch out that we're not over-regulating, that we're missing the train globally, particularly on AI. I mean, 71% of the Llama models are built in the US, 17 in China, none in Europe. Why I'm saying this, because I'm a wholehearted European, and I think fair regulation, good regulation, working with the regulators, explaining them what does good regulation look like. That's also a task we have to do as big tech companies. We cannot just say this regulation is not valid. We need to work with them, explain, because we have an opportunity here in Europe with all the great, people we have, the talents, the research we have, and so on, to really lead in certain areas the AI train, and we are not leading the AI train at that point in time.
Thank you.
Maybe I can add something there. So I'm hearing it's important to keep the pace high, right, and don't slow down. And so the thing with the AI, what we see right now, is that the pace is actually increasing. So technology cycles on our end are going to 1 year, right? In the past, you would see very slow technology cycles. Now it's going faster and faster, and I don't see organizations adapting to that. I'll give you an example. I see universities investing, for example, in technology, then taking a 5-year depreciation cycle. How's that going to work? So I see the conversation, I don't see the action, and my recommendation, also as a proud European, would be speed up.
Thank you. That's a general trade-off, right? You mentioned self-driving cars. I'm not sure right now, but a while ago, the most advanced self-driving car was Mercedes. May still be. It's just that the laws are restrictive, and so you can't really use it on our streets to that extent. Thank you. Now we have time for questions from the audience. If I may ask for short questions and ideally short answers. Yeah, the lady with the... There's a microphone coming.
Thank you. You talked a lot about responsible AI and ethical AI, and also now about the regulation. But do you really believe that AI can be controlled? That one day AI will take over mankind and we all may be slaves of AI? What is in place to prevent this scenario?
Good luck with the short answer. So.
Short answer. Actually, the AI, it's realized by humans. And you can analyze the answers, and you know also that also ChatGPT, for example, also the newest version, you can manipulate the answers, yeah? And you can have hallucination in the answers. And you have to define the rules in order to avoid a kind of misinformation, kind of wrong information, or in terms of manipulating results. Yeah? It's, you need the human touch on that. It's not impossible. I can tell you, technically, not impossible.
Thank you.
You said short answer, so we wait for the next question.
Yeah, right. Excellent. So, more questions. There's a gentleman there in the back with the light blue sweater.
I think talking between humans is very ineffective. So if I implement multiple AI agents in my company, are there any plans to have a more effective language for them to speak to each other?
Like teams of AI systems. Good point.
Well, so I mean, I already showed you, with our overdub video, what we can do. And right now, Meta has also a multi-language, program developed for 1,100 languages in AI. So really, we're working on this because, as I said, we believe in the connection of people and giving everybody a voice, and that's definitely something that we need to focus on, because at the end of the day, it's super important, as an AI agent, that you not only speak in your own language and understand your own culture, but be smart enough, because you're serving probably a more international or global customer base, that you're able to adapt and be smarter. So I think that's a very important topic, and at least at Meta we're working on this. I don't know what you're doing in NVIDIA on that front.
Yeah, I think we shortly commented on that already, right? I think the example of the work on the foundational models, it all started really big on the human language. But obviously now there are all these opportunities to go into different languages, coding to be the language of machines being an obvious one, but then also biology being a great topic, and there will be many others, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to see that, the OMR Festival in Hamburg, the 6th and 7th of May, we will expose that. We have a solution with Ameca. It's a real, it's artificial human, digital humans so called, and you can talk with Ameca in every language.
Thank you. We have time for a final question. We could, of course, go until dinner, but that's left to you then to do separately.
Yes, thank you for your talks. Referring to the open source part that you talked about and about agentic AI, my question would be, how would you see SMEs profit from these advancements that might be limited in compute financially and still have a strong emphasis on data security?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We believe with the technology, not only for AI, but before we started, it's really important to empower ecosystems. So it's not just about the largest and the ones with the largest budget, but it's also about startups, it's about universities, it's about students working on their own. So with that in mind, we look at all the resources that we make available. So whether it's access to the technology, even when it's limited, we want to make sure that it's distributed amongst those parties that I just mentioned. Also the knowledge transfer. How do you get started making sure that if we do these blueprints that I showed earlier on agentic AI, to make sure that we also provide developer support, not just to the big ones, but distributed to startups and across the world. So there are several efforts, and this is the vision that we have. Develop the ecosystem.
And I think that's super important to make AI successful, because you cannot just cater for the big guys. You really need to think end to end. Who's in the ecosystem? Smaller companies, researcher, developers, and so on. And you have to make sure you take them all on the journey and don't leave people, communities, whatever behind. So that's my strong belief, to make really an AI that works. And what we all say, make the world a better place, and is the next big tech revolution.
Final word from Guiscardo too?
To the question or the final?
Both in one go.
Yeah, in one go. I think the ecosystem is very important to your question. And in one goal, I think we have a world full of possibilities. Just take the possibility and look for a positive way. Not naive,
Thank you.
but positive.
That's what I call ending on a positive note. Thank you so much. Excellent panel. Angie and Carlo and Guiscardo. I think a wonderful combination of firms and of people. I hope it was super interesting for you. It was certainly for me. I wish you continued conference, inspiring and fun. Thank you again.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.